live on, not the couch, but on a table. Haha. Let's talk about ice tonight live on Facebook, guys. If you're out there, say hello, give us a holler. We're saying hello from Cairns. And this is Holly.
Hi everyone.
Say a holler to Holly. No, that's not funny. Hello. We have a special guest, Holly, on the show tonight. I'll introduce her in just a moment officially. But we are up here in Cairns, so good evening, Cairns, 7 p.m. Brisbane time, Gold Coast, Cairns time, on the couch. Hi, Nico, good to hear from you. Must be freezing in Melbourne. It is so hot up here. We've got air conditioning going. It's good. And we're up here doing some amazing work, preparing for forums, 2 forums up here in Mareeba and in Cairns, and doing a lot of media and talking to corporate sponsors about joining us in the rollout of Australian Anti-Ice Campaign projects up here and in Cairns. So if you're from Cairns and you're listening to this video or this show for the first time, we are putting a call out to all businesses and the community of Cairns. We are hosting 2 community forums, one in Cairns, one in Mareeba, and we are educating our youth in schools on the dangers of ice specifically from lived experience. So if you are interested in making a change in the Cairns community regarding this drug, I really urge you to get in touch with us, and you can contact us off our webpage www.australianantiicecampaign.org.au, or you can contact us at the office 5665 6063, that's 07 before that if you're not from Queensland. And we would love to hear from you if you'd like to join us on in the rollout of the campaign up here in Cairns, because we are inviting community people and corporate sponsors, businesses to get involved. So you might be a printer, for instance, and you might be able to print off some flyers that we can give out in the community to let people know about the forum. You might be somebody that might do banners, for instance, that we need to take into schools, or print t-shirts, or you might have resources like pocket cards or business cards that can help out, or we're looking for some laptops for the presenters up here. So there's many ways that you can help, and if it's not with goods, you might be able to give your time, some of your time. So we're always looking for volunteers. We do have a great team up here in Cairns of presenters and lived experience parents as well who've joined the team. So giving a big shout out to Maz, who looks after our family support, and to Tash, who's our team leader here, and we work closely with Centre Care. Good evening, Shane, if you're on. And all of our presenters up here in Cairns, and we are speaking to a lot of amazing, beautiful people who have businesses up here and can really see the devastation of what the drug ice is doing in their community, and they're coming on board to help facilitate the community forum, and also to help educate the youth in the schools against the dangers of ice. So we want to protect them, and you can do that. Every individual can do that by hopping onto our webpage and joining the army. So www.australianantiicecampaign.org.au, and you can join the Australian Anti-Ice Campaign Army, and you can make a difference today. So by doing that, you do receive some information about the dangers of ice yourself, so you can be informed and share with your family and friends as well. But more importantly, you'll help us educate one other child for $10. So you can become involved in the army, and together we can put the freeze on ice in our nation. Yeah. So I'm talking specifically to Cairns tonight because we are here in Cairns, and we have been working flat chat for a couple of days now, and so we're only here for a couple more, and we're going to leave the rest of the work with the team to continue and come back up for the forum up in on the 22nd. Yeah, okay. 28th is Adelaide, so on the 22nd and 23rd. I think Mareeba have theirs on the 23rd. Yeah. So we are excited to come back and be part of the community forum here, with not only just a talk fest about the problem that ice is doing, but to actually bring some solutions to the table, because we are educating youth and communities on the dangers of ice, but also helping people that are in addiction create pathways into recovery. Yeah, so that's what we do. What else do I have to report? Adelaide is also preparing for a forum on the 28th, and Business South Australia are joining us in the fight against ice. And I believe the team in Adelaide will be moving into offices with Business South Australia in September, and we are talking to businesses there as well to come on board. And we've had some accountants and some local businesses, which we'll share a little bit later, maybe on our next show. I'll have all the details of all the names, who have come on board and amazingly donated some laptops for the presenters. And they're just doing some amazing work down there. We've got people with big hearts, really want to see a change in what ICE is doing to our nation. It's going to take something radical, guys. It's really going to take something radical. We need a change, and we need it now, because lives matter. So that's what's been going on the last couple of week or 10 days or so. I missed the team dreadfully. I'm homesick, so we'll be back. I'll be back really shortly. Back on the Gold Coast, but tonight we're here on the table, not on the couch, on the table to talk to you about ice. Yeah, and although we are joking, it is a very serious matter, and it can be quite devastating. So, we've got to make it a little bit fun, guys. On the couch tonight we have Holly.
Hello.
Good evening, Holly. Thank you so much for joining us.
No, you're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Look, Holly's a great part of this team up here, and it is teamwork, because without each other we can't do a lot. Yeah, but together in unity, we get a lot of things done. We all make up this vehicle called AARC, and some of us are the brake, and some of us are the wheel, and others are the head, and others are the feet. I'm that little toe that sits on the right hand side of the foot, but I'm a part of it. And together we actually move forward. We drive that car, and we change lives, and we make a difference every day. So she's an absolute delight to work with, and I'm really honoured to have such a great team up here to work with. So we're excited to go into the schools and really change lives with our testimony, isn't it, Holly?
Yeah, it's a very exciting aim, purpose that we're going into, and I'm looking forward to all the children just bringing awareness and getting to see their eyes being open. That's one thing that I'm looking forward to, because it's a very real thing, and kids are just so unaware today, and it breaks my heart. Yeah. So
it does. It breaks our heart to see that everybody knows drugs aren't good for you, and you when you walk into a classroom, you talk to the kids, and what do you know about ice? And they say to us, it's a drug, and it's very addictive, and you get superhuman powers.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's really it. And that really scary for me, because I go, do you know what it looks like? Do you know how the forms it can be taken in? Do you know that marijuana is being laced with ice? Do you know that it comes in, little tablet forms? Do you know? And there's so much we want to share, isn't there?
Yeah.
Because, we've been through this journey, and honestly, we don't want anybody to go, not our worst enemies, to go through this hell. So our aim by sharing is not, we're not never, I guess, you wouldn't have started life wanting, thinking, oh yeah, I'm just going to become an ice addict one day.
No, not at all.
And I'm sure you're not here to share because, you want the world to know your dirty laundry. But why are you here to share, Holly?
I'm here to share because, addiction is very real, and it's not just face value, I know from experience that a lot of people just used to look at me and take me as I was, not knowing that a lot of it went deeper than just having a drug addiction. Yeah. I was very broken, came from a relatively broken family. I left home at 14, and I first injected ice when I was 15. So, and it just slowly just got worse from there.
I know the people at home, that don't know this world, you're probably going 15.
Yeah.
But the truth is, we've got kids out there today as young as 8, using, and 12 and 13. This is very real, and I mean, it would have been early in your days when you were using.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't quite around that as much as it is now.
Yeah. Well, it was kind of out of sight, out of mind back then, and you really kind of had to be affiliated with people that were quite deep in that world,
So how were you at 13 introduced to ice? 15,
15. Yeah. I lived in a supportive accommodation through one of the services here, and my flatmate at the time got into a relationship with a bandito.
Yep.
And slowly, the house was used for illegal purposes,
Yep.
and and then these people were, using ice, and I just got kind of interested, like, what is this stuff? Like, why is it so important? What about it makes it so good? So from there, I had my first taste of ice, and then
So did you smoke it first, or did
no,
you
I injected it.
So did they tell you, like what was going to happen, like what was in it?
No, they didn't tell me anything like that. They just said, oh, this will make you feel good.
Yep.
And it did make me feel good at the start,
Yep.
but the come down was so much worse than the initial hit. So
And that's what people don't realise, yes, you do get that incredible high the first time you hit up, and and probably the next time as well. But you see the come down, if this is normal, you get that high, and then the come down, the low that you get is down here, it's really low, and then the next time you hit up, the high is not so high, but the low is lower. Eventually, you're stuck in this place that is there is no high. You're just taking to kind of stabilise.
Yeah.
And to just operate, isn't it?
Yeah.
And how quickly were you like using daily or regularly?
Probably within a couple of weeks.
Yeah. It
was becoming a regular thing. I was even
Wow.
when I got a unit with one of my girlfriends who didn't use drugs. Like at the age of 15, I was already lying to her about losing money and going and buying drugs and not being able to pay my rent,
Yeah. Which is what happened.
Yeah, so it didn't take long at all before I was asked to leave. So, because her grandmother was guarantor on the unit, so when we didn't pay rent, I had to go.
So where did you go?
I went to it was kind of like a share house.
Yeah.
But it was all mates. There was 11 rooms in this Queensland, and we had drug dealers in there, other users in there, convicts in there, so to me it was all fun and games, it was excitement at that time. I didn't know any different. No one told me any different. So my world slowly went darker from there.
Wow. And I guess you just wanted to fit in, initially everybody's using and you wanted to be a part of the world, and really it's that easy. Youth today, they're in a group, they're at a party, get passed around a pipe. It's just that easy. It's real easy for them unless they understand where that's going to take you. And really clearly get explained what that feels like and the devastation that it causes on your whole life, but people around you, but also on you in your soul. It destroys you, and they don't understand that until it's too late. And really, the percentage of people that embark in ice addiction and come out the other side, not many do. The end result for ice addiction, and this is what we talk about in the schools, is really at the end of that road, you're going to find three things. You're going to find mental health issues. You're going to find prison, or you're going to find death.
Yeah.
Which one of them do you want? If you say yes to this drug, that's the end of the road for that. Those three are the choices. And it comes along with all these other consequences along the way. Kidney problems, liver problems. Your hair and falling out, and your teeth. And just the organ failure, your heart. Issues that many have, and I've known people that have gone into recovery and then have heart attacks because the pressure that this drug pumps, your blood and heats your body up, and it really damages your vessels. So, but at 15, you don't know these things.
No, not at all.
So, tell me about what that journey was like for you. Like, what were you thinking?
I didn't really think, at the time I had a boyfriend, and we were just kind of surviving every day. I remember we were sleeping in abandoned houses, and him and his mate used to go on shoplift so that we could get on, like big shoplifts though, like expensive stuff, and they'd come back with our daily hit, you know, and that was kind of a regular thing, and then sometimes we'd have to move on from wherever we went. Eventually I left Cairns and moved to South Australia, where things kind of settled down a little bit, but it didn't stop.
Did you move to get away from that lifestyle, or did you just move because that's
we moved because there was family over there, but just to have that change too, hoping that life would be different, you know, moving away from the people we knew and the things that we know, hoping that there was this new life, you know, which didn't quite turn out that way. So,
how long did it take you to make that move?
It took probably 12 months, you know, before like things got really bad. So yeah, but even then, like, we were still living on the streets for a period of time, still using drugs, and then when we found family, it got a little bit easier, but again, you know, we always found someone who sold, you know, who knew someone, so.
And they're out there, they're everywhere, you know, there's always, you can always find somebody, and you know, getting, like, you know, all the dealers and all the importation, like cutting that down, that's not going to stop our problem. You know, we really have to reduce demand. You know, people have to say, no, I don't want this poison. I understand what it's going to do to me, because there's people everywhere. It's everywhere.
Knowledge is power today, you know, and knowing what this drug can do to you and how it affects your life and the people around you, I think will make the biggest difference in you know, eliminating this problem.
Absolutely. So what happened then? You moved to South Australia and you hooked up with family, and how did that turn out?
Not real great. My partner became very violent, and I had 2 children, and then eventually child safety got involved, and then I came back to Cairns, and it was probably not even 6 months, and then I ran into an old mate and moved in with him and got work, but shortly after that my mate came home and we started using, and things got like worse than they'd ever been. You know, at that time in my life anyway, it got worse. I lost my job, and then had child safety involved again, and they took my kids. You know, so.
And how was that?
It was devastating. You know, rather than getting the support that I needed to get my life together, it kind of felt like they were making it worse for me, you know, because I didn't know what was wrong with me. I didn't know why I was doing what I was doing, or why I kept using drugs. And you know, these people were just telling me that I'm doing this stuff, and it's like, but why am I doing this stuff? You know?
Couldn't comprehend. And I understand that, Holly, because I've been there, but the people at home may not. So if you just give me a second, I'm just going to clarify why that was going on for Holly, because she could see she didn't want this all to happen, but the frontal lobe of the brain is hijacked with ice, where logic, rational decision making takes place. And when you are addicted to ice at that capacity, your frontal lobe doesn't operate. So you operate on your midbrain, and your midbrain is your animal instinct. It just cares about the next 5 minutes of pleasure, and it'll do whatever it takes to get it. But a thinking process is not there. So you see that things aren't right, and it doesn't feel right, and you want out, but it's like being in a room without doors or windows. You don't know how to get out, you know. And it's quite devastating. So you're telling me that they took your kids, but they didn't actually offer you support in what to do to get them back?
I got very minimal support. They told me I needed counselling and all this stuff, which I accessed, but
you're so scattered that you can't.
I didn't know where to go or who to ask for help. The support back then, I was 20, so that was 10 years ago. And even child safety didn't know what they know today about drug addiction, so everything's really evolved since then.
We do some training and some workshops with child safety in Queensland, so we're looking at doing more of that with the other states as well. So,
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, because they say we're working with people, we don't know how to help them, and they really genuinely want to know what's going on in here, so that they can understand how they can help. So had they known that your frontal lobe's not operating and you don't know how to actually take that first step, when a child is learning how to walk, you have to assist it. And taking every step until it learns to walk on its own. And this is what it's almost like that, isn't it? Like you can't make the choices, you don't know where to start, you don't know where to ring, everything's messy, and it's just easier to hit up again and to just stop the pain and the craziness.
And I kind of always found myself always in a place where I was surrounded by other people that used or sold drugs, so it was almost like it was enabling me, so because I didn't know anything else, I just kept finding myself with these friends and I'd just keep using drugs and then trying to make life different and not even know how I was doing it. So
So what happened after they took the kids, Holly? Did things get worse?
Things got really worse. When they took the kids, I was in a relationship with a guy who was quite heavy on drugs, and slowly I watched him turn into a monster. And January 2009 he was murdered in drug-related problems. So that kind of turned my world in more of a spiral, so not only did I already feel alone, when that happened, I was actually really fearful for my life, because he was quite violent too. I didn't know which way was up or down, my whole world was just inside out. So it was just, it's not something that I would wish on anyone, even someone that I didn't like, because it's just not, you can't, you just can't make sense of it.
And I can feel, even talking about it, how long have you been clean now, Holly?
2 years I've been clean,
Well done, sweetheart. And even talking about it right now, I can feel Holly's pain through it, because, it's a horrific place for anybody to be, and the craziness in that life, and the feeling that you're stuck in a small room without windows or doors and you don't know how to get out, and that's how the desperation, it's almost, when I go into a classroom where I talk about, if I cut off your air supply right now, what would you do to get the next, grasp of air? That's almost what it feels like, is that desperation that we went out, and that's a horrific thing to experience there, Holly, at a young age, and walk through that, and so had your kids taken away from you, the person that was your buddy was murdered, and you're fearing for your life now. My goodness, what happened? I'm blown away that you're here, because generally people would just go. Suicide is not very far away from you when you're at this point. It's part of Ice World. It really is. Suicide comes in and it just wants to take your life, kill, steal, and destroy. So what happened?
I went into survival mode. I was doing just about anything I had to do. I was running for multiple dealers, and I was living on the streets, in and out of caravan parks, living day to day, until I got some supportive accommodation, and that kind of pulled me up a little bit, because I was out of town. I didn't have transport or anything, but didn't stop me. I still had to do what I needed to do to feel normal. I needed to feel normal, and the only way I knew that was to use. Most days I would feel worthless and like life didn't matter. I hated the world, but I wanted my kids back, and I still didn't know how to do that. I still fought with child safety day in, day out. I fought with the foster carers. They stopped talking to me. They cut off contact with my kids, which made it even worse. It was really hard, and majority of the time I was by myself. I wasn't close with my family at that time because I'd burnt my bridges, my addiction, my behaviour at the time, it pushed my family away, you know.
What kind of things, like, did you push your family away? Because I know there's a lot of, I isolated from my family.
Yeah.
I moved away, and a few of the other presenters did the same. They went, you know, in the corner and didn't want to talk because it's shame, you know, you don't want your family to know what's going on. Did you do that, or did they actually go, we've had enough?
It was both ways.
Yeah.
You know, because I kept doing the same thing, my family was just like, no, you know, and I was very violent and aggressive.
What's the same thing? Because there's some people that don't know anything about
well,
I was,
you know, I wasn't changing my behaviour.
Yeah.
I wasn't doing anything productive to make any changes in my life, to get well, you know.
Yeah.
And like I was screaming out for help, but I was doing it in the wrong way. Like it was almost like I was in that room with no windows, banging on the wall saying I need help, but I didn't know how to ask for it, so I'd just become very violent and aggressive. You know, I remember one day we had a meeting at Child Safety and my mum had said something quite rude, and I can't quite remember what I said, but she ended up leaving, and my sister had a camera that I used to get flogged over from my partner, and it had all my photos on it from my kids. I climbed a 6-foot fence that had security all over it, and I was bashing on the door. Like, I put fear into my family, you know what I mean? So, yeah, it was, and like me today, I would never do that.
No,
you know what I mean?
Can't see you doing that because I know you're such a gentle, beautiful.
So I did some really crazy, violent things, and it still catches up with me today with things that I want to do with my life. You know, it's really kind of hindered. It's not stopping me completely, but it's definitely putting some strain on what it is that I want to do with my life today.
Well, there are consequences to action, you know, and some of the consequences you actually can't take back. You know, heart issues or kidney issues. Yeah. You actually can't reverse that. You know, some of my friends losing their life, you can't take that back. So, you know, when we go into school, you know, we talk about these choices that we make and the consequences that it's going to lead to. And, you know, if you see ahead of time the potential price you could be paying for this, is it worth it? That's my question. And they're definitely not, you know, and you know, it may take a few years for you to, you know, push through those things, Holly, but, you know, I encourage you that, you know, everybody's worthy of change, and, you know, the changes already, I've seen an incredible amount of change in Holly just in the short time that I've known you, you know, and I've got to say, wow, like, I can't believe you're telling me, like, you were aggressive. I'm like, really? Like, but I know it's true because I know that that's what this drug takes you to, but, you know, keep pushing through, you know, because I know the world doesn't generally like to give us another chance, you know, but we are worthy of a second chance. Everybody is, you know, and you can turn your life around. Yeah. You can, and, you know, and you have. Like,
yeah, and it's only, you know, it's only because of where I am today that I know that can happen, and I only want to be able to encourage and inspire other people to do the same. You know, recovery is a big part of my life today, and you know, all I want to do is give that away. You know, I want to show people that there is another way out. Like, it's scary, and I was so scared because I didn't know what was going to be on the other side.
That's right.
But I'm so glad I did it, you know.
You got to be brave. You really have to be brave. So we kind of jumped a little bit. How did you actually step into recovery? What happened that led you to? Like, did you ring somebody? Did somebody take you into a rehab, or what happened?
Well, I had got my kids back in 2011.
Yeah.
And I had, like, everything was good. I was still dabbling from time to time, you know. If I wasn't using ice, I was still using something. Like, there was not a time where, like, I've never been clean, like, never fully sober.
And most ice users do polyuse. So they might be using marijuana or some pills, you know, sometimes even heroin to come down, and that's not abnormal. You know, we talk about marijuana, party pills, and other drugs being doorways to heavier drugs and ice. You know, the problem with ice, Holly, is that today it doesn't, you know, come in a little clear pipe that people smoke, and it doesn't look like a heavy drug.
No,
you know
it doesn't.
It's like, to me, when I saw it or was offered it, I didn't even know it was ice, but it's not. It wasn't like a needle going in my arm.
No.
That's what I thought. It can't be a heavy drug, but it's contrary. Whether you take it intravenously or you smoke it, it's both. That does the same thing to your brain. It's still poison in your body, and it's still breaking down your brain and creating holes in there, so to speak. But breaking down the neurological pathways, depleting dopamine and serotonin, which that is devastating, because it's like a bomb waiting to happen. You got no happy feeling, no feel good, and then you've got anger and violence, impulse action taking place without the frontal lobe operating, and the animal instinct who just needs the next 5 minutes of pleasure. You got this bomb explosion inside somebody, and it's horrible. It's horrible. That's all I can say. So. What happened? You got your kids back, you were kind of poly using?
And then in 2015, I had a situation occurred which led me into a relapse, and it was the worst by far. Like, my whole world, while being a parent, my whole world came down around me. And I ended up calling child safety myself and asking for support, because I didn't know what else to do. And I didn't want to get to the point of them actually coming and taking the kids without me kind of acknowledging that something was wrong.
Wow.
So that was really hard for me, and doing that has caused some consequences between myself and my older children. Like, they thought that I gave them up. And it was really hard, because to be able to explain to my kids that I was sick and that I couldn't look after them, it's hard. So, it's been a long road. Like, it's only been 2 years, but so much has happened, and I thank God with all my heart that He's gotten me to where I am and restored the things within my family that He has, But I did a small stint in rehab, and a friend, I first found out about Narcotics Anonymous in 2013, and I didn't quite hit rock bottom enough to really accept the help like they were giving it. So I found myself coming in and out of the rooms. I didn't really understand why, but after 2016, I found myself back in the rooms, and I found a relationship with God, and from there, miraculous things started happening in my world. Like, I still battle every day, I still battle every day living life on life's terms. It's not easy, but, I've been taught how to love myself and taught that life is worth living without that stuff. And I've been given the tools, strategies, coping mechanisms to be able to deal with my emotions and deal with life and deal with difficult behaviours. And every day's a learning opportunity. So not every day's the same. So
that's right.
And here I am today.
And tell me something. Do you have a relationship with your older children now?
Yes, I do. I really do. It's probably been the best I've ever had with my older children.
That's awesome.
Me and my son still fight like cat and dog, but my daughter and I, like my oldest daughter, she didn't want to come home. She didn't want to come back home because she was full of fear that things were going to go down the same path. And so we had many nights where she'd pack her bags and walk out the door, and me calling the police, going, my daughter's just left, I didn't know what to do or how to do it. Like, it was the first time being a parent without drugs or alcohol, and it was scary, it was intense, and but I'm glad I did it. I just wanted to show my kids that they mean something to, and that they're worth it.
And so are you, Molly.
Yeah.
More importantly, yes, your kids are, but you are worth it. You are worth, the life you want to live, and you're worth, having them in your life, and being a parent, having a healthy, healthy life.
Yeah.
And really, life is not easy. you know, whether you're on drugs or not. You know, when we talk in schools, I often say to the kids, you know, you might decide to take drugs to get away from your problems. Let me guarantee you something. You take drugs, specifically ice, because that's the drug that I took, you're going to have a million more problems. And problems that you can never forget. And problems sometimes that you cannot even get rid of, you know, having damaged liver or kidneys or heart, you know, or memory issues is something that you can't actually, you don't have control to repair that. Yeah. It's only by the grace of God that you know, gets restored, your body gets restored and repaired, you know, and it really is a miracle, you know, that we're sitting here today. Because a very small percentage of people that embark in ice addiction actually do come out the other side. You know, we've been blessed with a second chance at life, you know, and to live a life, an abundant life, that you are worthy of it, and it's out there for the grab of whoever wants it. And so if I'm speaking to you today, if you're, you know, in addiction and you're contemplating change and you're not, you know, quite sure that you're worth it, and that you're not really sure how to do it, you know, we're here to help, and that's why we're sharing. And that's our heart. We want to reach out and put our hand out and say, come, we'll show you what we did, and you can step out, you know.
Yeah, totally. If you're willing to do it, we can help you become able to do it. You know, it's never too hard. It might feel hard, but it's not too hard.
Yeah. So is that a question there, Glenn? Okay, we've got a question, Holly, and that question is, can you pop that back up, my memory, hippocampus? How do people get out of the room with no doors?
You know, it's realising that you're in a room, you know, and realising that you're powerless over what's going on. You can't do it by yourself. You actually need help doing it. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with asking for help. You know, surrendering to the fact that you're powerless actually makes you stronger. You know, your vulnerability gives you a chance to grow. And there's other rooms. Narcotics Anonymous is a room that I went to, and I found a loving community to help me love myself, you know, and it was so powerful, you know. So,
and sometimes you don't know the way to the other room. You know, but it is out there. So, and that's when you can call on help. You know, we have what we call buddies. We are buddies, and we act as buddies out there to people that are wanting to get out of that room. Yeah, you can't see the door and you can't see the window, but we actually know the secret code and we can open it. So if you hold onto our hand, we'll walk you out that way. Into the other rooms, and really before you know it, you are in it. You're free. You know, and that. There's no value, you know, I just can't, there's no price on that value that, you know, no, I would give all my money, on that freedom, you know, just not having to, you know, be controlled by anything and circumstances of my life, and bound to that, you know, that addiction, that lifestyle, that, you know, that was chipping away at me, you know, and at you, like, it's a hell, it's a living hell. That's the only way I can explain it. If you want to know, we've been there, we've danced with the devil, you know, and we've lived in that hell. By the grace of God, you've managed to escape that, you know, and that's, you grab onto that with two hands, mate, you know, and you just gotta, you know, cling onto it and go forward, move.
Hold on to that grace like you hold on to your drugs, because that grace is priceless and it's worth so much more and can give you so much more.
And so today you are working with Australian Anti-Ice Campaign.
Yes, I am.
We're blessed with her. And so much passion to do that. And Holly's, you know, her heart, you know, she wears it on her sleeve, you know, and anybody that she buddies up and that she's helping, and the team in the office that she's helping move forward with the forums and stuff. It's, you know, they're really enjoying her company, and she's just so real, you know, and we're just honoured to have you as part of the team, you know. Can't wait to get you out there and working with the child safety workers, and you know, we do work in the prisons as well, with frontline workers, hospitals, police, you know, whoever needs them, to understand, you know, the full mind of somebody that was in addiction through an evidence best practice presentation. We walk through the thought process and the journey of somebody that was in that place, so you can better understand the real entrapment of this drug, and not just the written psychosis and paranoia, but what is that really? They're words until you can actually feel what that was like, and it helps. I remember I had a police officer in Central Queensland say to me after a forum, he said to me, with tears in his eyes, he came up to me and said, I now understand what is going on in there for the person. He goes, I used to, get these people and they're high as a kite, and I used to, put them in handcuffs and throw them in the back and think, losers. He goes, but they're not, are they?
Yeah.
They're people like you. And I go, yes.
Yeah.
They're not well, they need help.
Yeah.
So if we can, really relay that information out there through our campaign, is to really understand that, your loved one that's in addiction, or your friend, or, your work colleague, or your parent that might be entrapped in addiction, they are actually still in there, and they're hurting, and they need your hand, and, what do you do, what do you say? Connect with us. We want to help you understand that, and we want to help you with some tools to be able to help your loved one.
Yeah.
We do have a family support team. We have a care team in the office who they're waiting to take your calls anytime. We're online all the time. So if you're somebody in addiction that wants to reach out for help, or you are somebody that is a family member of somebody entrapped in addiction, you don't know what to do, we are here to help. So I urge you to connect with us either through Facebook message or through our website. You can send us a direct message there, or you can call the office number on 0756656063, and we will transfer you to the state that you're calling from. So we have offices in Victoria, in Adelaide, in Cairns, on the Gold Coast, and very, very soon, 13th or so of next month, we're going to be doing some work in Sydney. So we're calling out to the Sydney team.
So cool.
Yeah, that's exciting. We've got a lot of people filled out volunteer paperwork for Sydney. We will be sending out an email this week with a location to meet up, and welcome you all to the team, and allocate roles and tasks and so forth to move forward with rolling out in Sydney. So we're excited, the more lives that we can get in front of, that we can impact and we can change and we can help. So we need to do this together. It is a community issue, and it's going to take a community approach to actually turn this around. And we're just seeing things are getting worse, everywhere in Australia. So if you're needing help, don't forget to reach out, and we're here to help you through that. We had a question. Glenn?
Just Jill's here saying she just wants to contact us in the hope that she can have some change and some help.
Yes, awesome. That's great to hear.
We look forward to chatting with you, Jill. Please do connect with us, and whether you're in Cairns or any of the other states, we want to connect, and we want to walk you out of that room.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Because every life matters, and your life matters, and you're worth it. So the change on the other side when you come out of that space is awesome.
Yeah,
it really
it's great.
Life can be beautiful, and you can reconstruct that and rebuild your neurological pathways, and you can rebuild your life even better than it was before. You can do it.
The one that you're purposed for.
Yeah, that's right. Amen to that. Not the one that you were trying to get. Like I think back and I think, what was I doing? Like before I was like, really? It's just so far away from who I am. Everything.
Well, I never had a chance to actually find out who I was.
Wow,
I was 15 when I first started using, and then I was a mum. So when I came out of addiction, it was. It was
Got technical problems. Hit the volume button at the top.
It was really surreal, because I always identified myself as either an addict or a mum. So.
Okay. Yeah.
So
you had to kind of find yourself. So how did you do that? Because to me, you're like, look at you, and I heard one of the girls say, but Holly, she's got it all together, and really. who has it all together?
Yeah,
Nobody.
Definitely not.
We're all
Definitely
just
not.
doing life, and you know, and I'm talking to the general world. You know, you look at even lawyers and you know doctors, and they, you know, from the outside, people look
Yeah.
like they have it all together, but we're all the same. We're all broken, and it's
Yeah.
okay. You know,
It is.
we just gotta hold on to each other's hands. Say, I'm really broken today, and I need a hug. And
Yeah.
it's all cool. You know, we do need hugs sometimes.
Yeah,
you
we
know,
do.
and it's all right to be there. But how was that process?
A little bit more time with getting to know who I was. So I needed to learn to find myself as being a parent, you know.
in that
So
process,
and it's not been easy, but it's doable,
Yep,
you know,
yep.
and I'm doing it. So
And you are doing it, and every day we're doing it. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? It's a journey. It's not the destination.
yeah,
And every day, like you know, I've been in recovery 5.5 years or so, but every day you're still learning something new,
Yeah.
and you're always growing. You know,
Yeah.
I think the minute that you stop, you know, finding out new and growing, I think you might as well say goodbye. You know,
Yeah.
because that's life. It's about growing, and it's about doing life together, and it's about, you know, we're all born broken, and we're all imperfectly perfect, as I say.
Yeah.
Imperfectly perfect. Does that make sense?
yeah.
So did you actually go to rehab?
Yeah, I went
Yeah.
into rehab.
Yeah.
I didn't last very long in there. At that time, they weren't real great, and it was over the holiday period, so there was like next to no staff, no
Right.
programs running. But my house got broken into while I was in rehab,
Oh no.
and I wasn't getting very much support, and I wasn't medicated on my like my antidepressants, anti-anxiety drugs, so I was just going through the roof. I couldn't
Yep.
sleep, and the next day I just left.
Yep.
So yeah, I didn't last long. Like I wanted to do it, but you know, life got real, and you know, I wasn't being supported. So
Yep.
I did what I just acted on
Yep.
survival mode, you know.
Yep.
So
Yep.
yeah.
So you came out, and then you kept going to NA.
Yeah, I kept going to NA, and then
And did you have a buddy? Like, did you have a support person? Did
I had
somebody come-
I had a group of support people within the rooms, but it was probably maybe 6 weeks later I got a sponsor,
Awesome.
and it was quite funny actually, because I was buying the working step guidebook, and I was telling this lady, she's so awesome, she's so out there and just full of life. And she's like, so are you gonna get a sponsor? And she's like, right in my face, like she's like, normally I don't sponsor people, but she's like right in my face, like waiting for me to ask her to be my sponsor. So yeah, she's lovely.
She wanted to be your sponsor.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
awesome.
yeah. So it was really cool, and she was very real, and she made me work for my recovery, you know.
Yeah.
And I think that's what matters, you know, the most, is that we need to be willing to work for our recovery too. It's not just going to be handed to us. We will be there to support you and guide you, and you know, show you the steps that you need to take, but you need to also want it just as much.
That's right. You need to
Yeah.
step into it and actually seek it.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
call as well, and take the action. You know, get
Yeah.
to your NA meetings, and
Yeah,
go and see your AOD counsellor, and you know, if you're told to take this medication, or you know, take vital greens.
Yeah.
Often, you know, with our buddies, like, you know, how do I get better quicker?
yeah,
And I say to them, look, take some vital greens and get some double strength krill oil, and get some sun. The ones that are serious, they'll get a pen and paper, and they'll be like, what's the
Yeah.
name of that? And you know that they really want it. You know,
Yeah.
they're going to go and do it. You know,
well,
that's-
after the dual diagnosis training, because
Yeah.
that's actually presented in there,
Yeah.
I actually went and got that stuff myself.
Yeah.
So, you know, every day I'm taking that. And I'm
yeah,
like,
it
oh.
helps because
Yeah.
you want to get better quicker, and you know, you've done so much damage inside that we can only see the external.
Yeah.
But the actual damage inside needs to be repaired as well. So the Vita Greens are very important for the brain function, the double strength krill oil, and so those two things, and the probiotics. Yeah, I always think Yakult. No, it's not that. What's in Yakult? It's probiotics that helps the digestive, the flora of your stomach. Because of course, when you're on ice, you don't eat, you don't drink, and then you eat a lot of chocolate and rubbish, and you always know when they're coming down here. There they go, McDonald's and all the junk food.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's right. You start taking care of the vessel.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know, the spirit, the soul repairs. You know, slowly over time. You know, and you start to work on each section at a time.
Yeah.
You know, and knowing who you are. is so important in that recovery, and that you know, we are vessels of a higher power, and that we've got to give it up and go, you know, I don't know how I'm going to do this, and I don't know the way, but you know, I'm willing to do it, and I need help here, you know, and just to let go and let God, as I say, and walk through that, out of that room without windows, you know. So, you know, we're here to outreach to you, to say that, you know, you can do it, and we're here prepared to help you. And there's not only two of us, you know, there's lots more of us in other states as well. We've got men, we've got tall men, there's big men, there's skinny men, and you know, same as the girls, you know, older women, we're younger women, and you know, so we're all here waiting to outreach to the people out there. So, and that is the journey that we're on at the moment. So I'm excited to go into the forum.
I'm really excited.
And are you sharing your story at the forum?
As far as I know, I am.
Fantastic, that's great. I think the community of Cairns will really get a lot out of that. And you know, knowing you, and I mean, I didn't know you in addiction, but knowing you now as you are, you know, the community of Cairns, they're blessed to have you. They really are blessed to have you. You know, to be able to create change here in this community.
I'm honoured that I can be a part of that.
So we look forward to introducing you slowly to the other team members in Cairns, and we do have an awesome team here. But thank you, Holly, so much for sharing your heart and your journey. And I know that there's so much more, you know, in the journey that we really, in an hour, how much can you fit? You know, you kind of go skim over the top. But I'm sure that there's lots of little detailed things that still live in your heart, that, you know, every so often you remember a new thing that happened, and you know, you've got to work through that. You know, recovery is not easy, but it is definitely worth it, and you're worth it. And every day gets easier, and every day gets better.
It does, amen.
So if you had to sum up in one word, ice addiction, what would that word be? Right down the barrel.
A black hole. It's a black hole.
Wow. Does that sound like fun to you? Now, our message at AARC is not even once. And that goes like, not even once. That's it.
Once.
You can go once, because NEO is our t-shirts, not even once, that we have as well. And you can purchase those t-shirts as well as these t-shirts off our website, www.australianantiicecampaign.org.au, and all the proceeds from the t-shirts, and there's the NEO ones, which have a NEO here.
And then a big label on the back.
It's got it established on the back. All the proceeds from that go to help what we do. You can also purchase these bracelets, putting the freeze on ice bracelets. If I can get them off, I put them all on my arm the other day. So ARC, putting the freeze on ice little bracelets. We have USB ones as well, and my CD is on there. So the EP, Highway Destruction, which was songs that I wrote through my recovery, and it was about my journey in addiction and out. So all the proceeds from everything that we sell in our shop go towards helping educate our youth about the dangers of ice. So hop onto that website, and don't forget, join the army while you're there on that website, because that's really important. That's what's going to help us be able to roll out all the programs. We have over 14 programs. The Australian Anti-Ice Campaign, we have a Walk Against Ice, a Ride Against Ice, Paint the Nation. So apart from our workshop in schools, we have, you know, various other programs that we're running with music as well. So it doesn't stop there. It's not just the education. We do role plays. We have, you know, ongoing engagement, youth engagement activities to do with music as well, incorporated in there, to help keep the message alive. It is about awareness, education, and just, you know, really getting the word out there. Not even once. This drug will kill, steal, and destroy your life. And you're worth more than that. So Holly, thank you so much for being on the show with me today. Not on the couch, but on the table. And you'll see a lot more of Holly, hopefully soon. Each state to take over their own show and give me a breakdown. Look forward to seeing you next week again at 7 p.m. on the couch, because we'll be back on the Gold Coast talking about ice. So for now, good night.
Good night.
Thanks for joining us.